What's up, everybody? Welcome into another happy edition of the 1796 Sports Podcast. We're talking about two big wins for basketball in Knoxville for the Tennessee Vols this week. First of all, Tennessee versus Missouri. What a game! Probably the most entertaining game Tennessee's played all year. Just the closeness of it and the shot making from both teams. But Tennessee comes out on top. Another quad one win, 85-81 in Knoxville, and really like complete opposite of what I thought Tennessee was going to have to do or should have done because defense was leaky in that first half for sure. Didn't take care of the ball, but they got it together after getting down 11 at one point in the second half to Missouri, and boys rallied. And for the first time in a while, they made a bunch of shots, Jim.
Yeah. And I want to talk about one guy in general, Igor. I mean, what a phenomenal game he had. Really stepped up. I mean, obviously the 21 points is great. 10 rebounds, 5 assists. I mean, all around amazing game from him to come off a game where he didn't even play.
Yeah.
Same thing as Zakai, going 4 for 4 from 3, 21 points as well, 8 assists. I mean, two guys that didn't play the game before really showed that, hey, we could do it too. Now, I would like to see the rest of the team that what happened during the Florida game show up a little bit more. Kind of didn't get the same vibe. Now, Missouri, I ain't gonna shit on them. That is a good basketball team. But Tennessee just happened to shoot lights out from 3, going 10 for 15. I mean, that's absurd. I think they're taking a little bit better shot selection the past couple games, not chucking up 57 threes in one game. Now, I do want to bring up, though, I really want to see Chaz Lanier a little bit more aggressive. I don't know about you, but I feel like he's a little bit hesitant. I know I've heard him say, oh, I like the game to come to me. But stuff like that, you're the best shooter on the team by far. Yeah. You need to put more than 2 shots up in the second half. I mean, it has to happen. Thank God Igor and Ziegler had a game, because if not, that would have been a bloodbath.
Yeah, for sure. You're 100% correct. I mean, there's no reason to rag on Missouri after that. I mean, they're a really good team. I mean, they were fresh off beating the brakes off of Mississippi State and Starkville, and they have probably 4 to 6 guys who can make tough shots like consistently. I think they're going to be a problem the rest of the year in the SEC. But yeah, speaking about Chaz, I mean, I think Missouri was doing a lot of things to slow him down. I think that's part of the reason he only got up 2 shots in the first half, and I also think it's part of the reason Zakai and Igor had the space to do what they did. I mean, you always got to give credit to the team for, things that went wrong in a game. I mean, Missouri played good defense and was aggressive, so we turned it over a lot in the first half. Missouri made shots when they were open, when they ran good offense and got good looks. But you mentioned Igor, like a stat stuffing performance. Like, I think it was 21 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 blocks, 2 steals, 8 of 10 from the floor. I mean, by far the best game he's played all year. And he only shot 3 3-pointers, which was really the bulk of his offense up to this point in the season, really. And he was looking to get to the basket, which is what I think he needs to do. He wasn't just settling for the 3. He was driving because, he's 6'10" and a big body. Like, he needs to do that more to replicate this performance.
Yeah, and this was the Igor we thought we were getting in the first place.
Yeah.
And he needs to continue it, and I'm sure he will. I think this was a big eye opener for him on what he could do. I know he knows he's got the talent. Same thing, Akpara. He's great defensively. He has to stay out of foul trouble. Just getting close to that 5 fouls and being, what he's been doing, blocking all those shots. I mean, he averages 3 blocks a game, I think, or 4 blocks a game, which is nuts. But yeah, overall, great win. Keep the momentum rolling. Going to Oklahoma this weekend. So, gotta hope they stay hot. It's gonna be a tough environment, but you just beat a really good Florida team. You just beat a really good Missouri team. Um, you know, I do want to talk about though. I feel like they didn't play as much against on the Missouri game, but I'm starting to think Boswell needs the minutes from Dubar.
Yeah, it's a. I'm very concerned with Dubar right now. I feel like he should have figured it out by this point in the season. I mean, we're over halfway through conference play now, and he still looks lost sometimes.
He looks out of shape.
Yeah, I mean, it's either that or he's just not very athletic. So could be both. Um,
I
I
just
don't know.
think I just think Gainey and Boswell and Phillips are going to be the main three that have to come off the bench and really get some minutes in.
Yeah,
But I mean, Dubar, he has his moments. He really does. But like you said, it's there's something going on that you should have. I understand you were out for a little bit, personal issues, but there's something you should have figured out. And like, it's crazy. Like even with his 3-point shooting, that was what he was known for. And it's like it's just brick central. Like he's literally like throwing bricks at the rim every time I see him.
yeah,
Um, but that'd be another guy though. If he could figure it out, Tennessee would be in really good shape. It's just you know we're one injury away where this season could go down the drain.
yeah, yeah. It's like like we both said. I mean, you feel like if it was going to happen for Dubar, it should have been happening by now. And again, the book's not closed, but it's looking unlikely for him to contribute a lot. I want to talk about Zakai Ziegler now. I saw a lot of nonsense tweets after the game on Saturday and during the stretches of this game where Tennessee was struggling. This team's better without Ziegler and blah 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 and all this shit. I That's nonsense. I mean, clearly, even if Tennessee didn't win, that's nonsense. But his performance was just as good as Igor's. 4 for 4 from three, broke his horrible shooting streak. He was 2 for 20 his previous 2 games from three, and he shot less threes. He shot them within the rhythm of the offense. And oh, look at that, you make them instead of forcing a three at the end of the shot clock or something. Um, 7 of 7 from the free throw line. His normal amount of assists, only 2 turnovers. I mean, he's integral to this team. And at the same point, on the same page though, like I think the injury was one of the best things that could happen for this team, and I'll give you a couple reasons. Number one, other people had to handle the ball in that Florida game. We already talked about Gainey and him coming through in that game, and even Meshack. But I think he just needed a damn rest. I think that's why he was struggling shooting. Like he has to play 35 plus minutes a game, and he misses, a game, and then he comes out and looks as good and refreshed as he's looked all season. So I think that injury will end up being a good thing for this team.
Yeah, like I said, you just can't have another one go down. I mean, especially someone of importance in that starting five.
Yeah.
Cade Phillips always been giving us good minutes. Cade Phillips has been excellent all year. He's really stepped up with Estrella being out.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, it all depends on who you're playing, where you're playing. They're going into a tough road environment this week. I really want to see if they could step up and win a road game here. But the past 2 games, they play like they did against the Florida game. The one thing about Oklahoma is they suck at rebounding. They are one of the worst rebounding teams in the SEC, which is a huge advantage for us, obviously. Big men need to stay out of foul trouble. But going back to this Missouri game, like you said, we were down, 11 points at one point, and the boys brought it back. Um, but I do also want to bring up, because we will talk about the Lady Vols here in a little bit, but can we talk about why the Lady Vols games are way more lit than the men's games? Because like it seems like the men's games are dull. You know, they have their moments. They definitely have their moments, but the Lady Vols today, I was watching whenever I was actually got to watch that game. That crowd was nuts.
Yeah. Well, I think a big reason for that is they were playing UConn. I mean that's the game for both of those programs historically. I think that factored in. And there's probably a lot of UConn fans there too. The other thing is they play a more exciting brand of basketball. So I don't know. We always talk about the crowd. It seems like on Wednesday night though, like it was pretty good. I saw a lot of tweets from people who were there that said the environment was better than they have seen, and probably because we were scoring the ball. So 57 second half points. It's more than we've scored in two SEC games. Um, but the thing that stands out to me from this game, besides Ziegler and Igor playing like all Americans and us needing every single bit of those points to win this game, Chaz only had 10. If you told me we gave up 81, Chaz only scored 10, what would you say the score would have been?
81 to
Like 60?
65. Yeah.
Like, I think that's another good thing for this team. We proved that even when Chaz doesn't have, 20 plus points, we can score in the 80s. We scored in the 80s for the first time in SEC play on Wednesday night without him scoring a lot. So, and this, Rick Barnes said it after the game. I mean, he seemed kind of frustrated with, the lack of consistency at this point. He says by this point in the season, you want to be knowing what you're going to get every night. But like I said, in a way, it's a good thing that they still came out with Chaz only scoring 10. But you'd like to see Chaz, consistently getting 15 plus points at least by this point in the season. I think the
Yeah.
excuse of he's in the SEC now is now gone. It's been 10 games now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, like I said, I feel like he's a little bit timid sometimes.
Yeah,
Where he has that. I mean, his quick release is crazy. Where it's just like he has the time to shoot it and he doesn't, and he hesitates a little bit too long, and then he has to pass it off, and that's where Rick a lot of times takes him right out. It's like, yo, you're the shooter on this team.
yeah,
Same thing as Gainey. If Gainey's open, that's what I love about Gainey. If Gainey's open, he knows when he's open. He's not as consistent as Chaz is, but Gainey's shooting that three if he's wide open. He's gonna.
yeah,
But Chaz, it's like he second guesses himself, and it really gets to me because the dude could shoot lights out, and we all know that. And it's okay to miss a couple shots. If you go 5 for 12 from the three, I'm fine with that. I'm fine
yeah.
with that. So
Yeah, it would be nice to see him just fire away at some points, but I think that's kind of what the team fell into against Kentucky. I mean, I think they're really focusing on working inside in these last two games, which has obviously proved dividends. But again, there's a balance you have to strike. You know, only getting up 5 threes again probably has a lot to do with the way Missouri guarded him, but you still like to see him get up more than 5 shots. I mean, he shot 40% from three, but he only shot 5 times. So, like you said, we need more out of him. Rick Barnes knows we need more out of him, and that's that. Pretty simple.
yeah,
The last 5 minutes of this game pissed me off so much. Um, First of all, it took 30 damn minutes because of this nonsense that Doug Shows and take your pick of these SEC refs won't want to do at the end of games. They reviewed a play where a dude fell down too hard because he tripped over Akpar's legs, and they were looking for a flagrant. It's like, really? What are we doing? Like, and then they're Gainey's backpedaling. He stands straight up, and they call a foul on him. It literally had half an hour to play 5 minutes because of the way these games are ending now.
and
And
a benefit in Missouri.
sure, yeah, it completely broke the rhythm of the game that Tennessee was leading by 14. I mean, I'm not saying Tennessee played perfect in that stretch. They did things to let Missouri, get back into it for those last few minutes, but this certainly helped by the way the last 5 minutes was called. I mean, it's nonsense. And I will say Tennessee has to hit more free throws down the stretch too. It could have hurt us if we didn't have that big of a lead, but it's just annoying. The last 5 minutes were annoying.
Yeah, and I feel like that's been the refs all year in SEC play, and not just for Tennessee. It's like throughout the conference. It's like games take 2.5 hours. It's because they're calling fouls on everything, and you're living at the free throw line. You're looking at replays every 10 seconds. It's like just let them play basketball.
And then to put the cherry on top of the whole bullshit last few minutes, Dennis Gates calls a timeout with a second left, down 4 points. Really? Like you're just gonna call a timeout just to extend this nonsense further? But like I told my brother as we were watching, if I was Tennessee, I would just hand them the ball. You're up by 4. Like as long as you don't foul them, there's nothing's gonna happen.
Right.
Even if they hit a 3, like just hand them the damn ball. Who cares? But anyway, any more thoughts from that game?
No, you got to carry the momentum into Oklahoma. Again, we're 19-4, people. 19-4. If Tennessee wins the games they should win this weekend. Not saying they will, but they should win this weekend. And you keep this momentum going on throughout the rest of the season. Tennessee should be a 1 seed. They should, and they will if they continue and win the games they're supposed to win. So don't be disappointed. Don't be disappointed. SEC plays a gauntlet. We say it every podcast. Don't be surprised.
Yeah. There's only we're playing, not as good teams as we just finished the stretch of. We just played 5 top 25 teams, maybe even 5 top 15 teams in a row. Went 3-2. I mean, it's hard to ask for much more than that. And like you just said, a league like this. But the thing about the last 8 games is 5 of them are on the road. Got to go to Oklahoma this weekend. Got to go to Kentucky midweek.
Got to go to Rupp.
Then you got to go to A&M on.
And you don't. We haven't played good there.
Yeah, it's been at least 2 years since we won down there. LSU on the road is about the only easy road game we have. Should
I wouldn't even say easy. Yeah, I wouldn't say easy.
Yeah, if
everyone plays their best against Tennessee, everybody plays their best.
It would be tough to lose that game, is all I'm saying. But
well, it's tough to lose the Kentucky game because Kentucky, realistically, is not a good basketball team.
Not right now. 4 of their last 5.
Without Lamont Butler, they're not.
Yeah, and we were their only win, which is frustrating. So I hope we give
it
back.
Again, another game where you shot 20 more shots and only lost by 5. So,
yeah. But talking about this game on Saturday, just before we move on to Lady Vols, another good shooting team. Oklahoma is 3rd in the SEC in 3-point percentage, and they have one of the best scorers in the SEC in Jalen Moore. I mean, yeah. And then Bryson Goodline is the 2nd best 3-point shooter in the SEC percentage-wise. And the guy who was number 1, we just finished playing. So, in Caleb Grill. So we're facing a similar team. It's just in their house. But like you said, Oklahoma does have their weaknesses. I don't think they're as good defensively. I don't think they're as good of a team, period. But they're still capable of giving us a run for their money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they got the very talented Jeremiah Fears. At the beginning of the season, he was averaging like 23 points a game. I mean, the kid could score. But Tennessee will be ready to play. Got to stay out of foul trouble, box out, get your rebounds, and I think Tennessee wins this game.
Yeah. You already mentioned Oklahoma struggling rebounding, which is one of the things Tennessee does really well. They're literally the worst rebounding team in the SEC. Tennessee is the 2nd best team in the SEC at preventing opponent rebounds. So,
Oklahoma's coming off. They're coming off smoking Vanderbilt. So,
well, they lost to Auburn Tuesday night by a good margin. I think it was
20 or something. Yeah,
98-70. So you're facing the scoring team. So that's another thing to watch out for.
Yeah. Now,
go ahead.
I hate to like cut you off, but I'm so excited to talk about what we're about to talk about. I'm so damn excited. Uh, we're just gonna start it off right now. I mean, if you're okay with it, but
Yeah, let's
Kim
go.
Caldwell is the best hire since Tony Vitello. I'm
Uh,
listen,
yeah, yeah.
listen. I understand football is way more important, and Josh Heupel is a fantastic hire. People might disagree with that, but he is a fantastic hire. He brought Tennessee football back. Kim Caldwell has been outstanding. A team that struggled insane amounts last year under Kelly Harper is 17-5 and just knocked off a top 5 team in the country
Uh,
with arguably one of the best players in the country on that team.
Oh yeah, Paige Beckers is the number one draft prospect.
And my favorite thing about Kim Caldwell in this situation was after the game. Okay. After the game, her team's coming up hugging her. Stone cold killer. No smiles. I think she was pissed off about something. She's gonna go into that locker room. Yeah, we're gonna celebrate a little bit, but tomorrow, hey, you messed up there. You messed up there. It ain't all sunshine's rain. You're moving on to the next time. But this Lady Vols team, I would hate to be a team that plays them in the tournament. I would hate to be because they could play anybody. They could play South Carolina. Now, I'm not saying they're a national title contender, but they could get there. They can get there. If everything falls in their favor, this team could get there. But let's talk about today. Excellent game.
I mean, it's always playing UConn for Lady Vols basketball is the game. I don't care that South Carolina has taken the torch these last few years. Like, if you were to give me a chance to pick one of these last, you know, these 5 games against Oklahoma, LSU, Texas, South Carolina, UConn, I would have picked UConn if you gave me just one win. That I mean, this game means that much to the program. It had been 18 years since we beat them. Um, kind of misleading because they didn't play each other for '08 till 2020, but I just couldn't find anything bad to say about these ladies tonight. I mean, even when they were just turning the ball over and doing stupid shit, most of it was just effort turnovers. You know, trying to make a pass that's a little aggressive, or trying to make a dribble move and it doesn't go well. Plus, UConn's really good. Like I wasn't going to get mad at
Yeah.
them tonight. Like, and they pulled it out. I mean, you thought the same thing was going to happen again. That
Oh
they
yeah.
will,
Oh
and
yeah.
that UConn ended up tying it up. Then we hit a three, and then we got in the paint our last few buckets and just made big time shots. So I couldn't be more prouder of them, and I couldn't help but think of Pat Summit as that final buzzer
Oh,
rang.
Pat Summit's like literally walking right next to Geno right now, and just got like pointing in his face, going ha ha. She's doing. Uh, she's up there smiling down, and she's happy. Trust me, she'd be happy with how Kim has taken this program and brought it back because and this is just the beginning. This is like think about when Josh Heupel took over.
Yep.
Kim took a lot of Kelly's players, and don't get me wrong, you got Cooper, coming in and being how good she is, but next year you got 3 McDonald's, maybe 4 McDonald's All Americans coming in, and they're going to be playing. They're going to be playing. That she plays 10 people, 11 people sometimes. It gets nuts, and
Yeah.
that she's playing with people she didn't recruit. And I'm happy to have her. And this is 18 days after childbirth, by the way, and she's beaten UConn, a top 5
That's
team in the country.
that's still the craziest part. This lady was pregnant for the last 9 months, and she's done this to her program in her first year, and being competitive with all these top teams, and you finally pull one out. Um, you were talking about what her comments after the game, just her whole aura after the game. Holly Rowe interviewed her. And the last thing she said was, "I want to get home to my baby boy." I was like, "Damn, that's wholesome."
Well,
Like,
not only that is like I said, is Tennessee outworked UConn just by a little bit.
yeah,
And if Tennessee, the Lady Vols, could play like that against everybody, no, again, they're a top. To me, they are a top 10 team in the country.
yeah, yeah. I
So,
agree. I mean, like you said, I think they didn't really play much different tonight. The effort just, I think the breaks more went their way. I mean, of course they made mistakes in their losses, but they've been playing like this, and they did play a one at least better team than UConn and South Carolina. But I think the big deal tonight for them was they didn't have a horrendous meltdown in the damn third quarter,
mm-hmm.
which has been the theme in most of their losses. They won the third quarter. That's what won them the game. It's the only quarter that they did win. Um, and it was huge. I mean, they went on a 13-0 run. It was either 11-0 or 13-0 run to surge ahead, and they never trailed after that. UConn did tie it, but Tennessee never trailed after that. Again,
Yeah. And
just
Kim needs to do some tampering.
hey, I mean,
Sarah Strong needs to be a Lady Vol next year. That girl can ball. She's, I mean, averaging 17, 7, and 3. I
yeah,
had
she's good.
18, 9, and 3 against us tonight. So,
Every time I watch women's basketball, this always strikes me is that whoever has the better post players normally wins the game. That's how it normally goes in women's basketball. And I think Kelly's going to grab plenty of them. I mean, we've talked about the lady who can dunk the ball and is looking at Tennessee,
yeah.
LSU, and South Carolina. If we win that one, I mean, that goes a long way. I want to go back to what you said about is this the best hire since Tony Vitello at Tennessee? Um, I think it's a tie between her and Heupel, but I will say this didn't happen in Heupel's first year, and
Mm.
it is a lot easier to turn around a basketball program just because it's on a smaller scale and you can style of play matters a lot, and it's a very volatile sport. But again, didn't happen under Heupel. It took Heupel 2 years or a year of setting the culture, and then it happened. But it's nothing but a good sign that this is happening in their first year. I mean, we're giving everybody we play a run for their money.
Yeah. I mean, you look at 3 out of the 5 losses, they were all by like 6 points total.
Yeah,
I mean, they're so close to being that 20-2 team, you know? And like I said, I'd hate to be a team that runs into them in the round of 32 or the round or Sweet 16. I'd hate to be that team.
yeah. I mean, they still haven't lost to an unranked team. I mean, this team is. I mean, Vanderbilt was unranked when they lost to him, but now they're ranked. So they still haven't lost to a bad team. There's no bad losses here, and like I said, I think a lot of the breaks went against them. But I just want to end on this: eat shit, Geno Auriemma. Pretty simple.
Yeah, eat shit, Gino. Eat shit. Eat a big pile of dog shit.
um,
But hey,
uh,
I want to let's finish off with the remaining schedule they got. They got at LSU next, which they could beat them, but LSU at home is a little bit different.
tall
Um,
task.
so yeah, I'm kind of going to chalk that one as up as an L. But to me, they'll beat Auburn, they'll beat Ole Miss. I think they'll beat Alabama. It's three home games in a row.
Yeah.
So there's your 20. So you'll be 20-6.
Florida
They beat
sucks.
Florida 21-6. I
Georgia
think
sucks.
Kentucky's good. Georgia Moore is really good. But the thing about Kentucky women's basketball is after their starting 5, they are not good. So uh, I'm gonna chalk that up as a win. I think they could beat them. I think they finished this. What is it? 7 games. I think they could run the table and go 6-1
That would be lovely. I'm
to
feeling a little
finish
bit.
her first season 23-6 would be great.
I mean, 6-1 is what I think the expectation as a Lady Vol fan should be. Like the only one
Yeah.
that's pretty insurmountable is LSU. So, but it's still not out of the question. The second hardest would, of course, be Kentucky on the road. But like you said, I mean, Tennessee has the gals this year to play with anybody. They have the style of play to play with
Mm-hmm.
anybody. I mean, the last thing I'll say about Kim and Kim versus Heupel thing is this win is very similar to Heupel beating Alabama. This is going to give her a lot of good grace, even if things go wrong next year or the rest of this year. It's going to give her a lot of good favor for her to work off of. So,
Yeah.
any last thoughts on Lady Vols before we end on some football coaching staff changes that I just remembered? And I guess we can preview a little baseball too.
Not enough coaching changes.
Of course, the one I'm referring to, Mike Eckler leaving for Nebraska, going home. In other words, he's from there.
That's fine. I'm not mad at him for it. Uh,
No,
kind of expected, expiring contract. And like you said, it's home to him. And I know his parents are getting a little bit older. He wants his parents to be able to watch him coach, and it's fine. But Josh Heupel is probably going to hire from within. I'm just going to assume that because that's just how he is. Joey Halsley needs to go too. I don't know. And it's fine. If Joey Halsley wants to be a quarterback coach, fine. But get a real offensive coordinator. And I understand everyone's like, oh, Josh calls the plays, Josh calls the plays, Josh calls the plays. I don't care, bro. I don't care. Alex Golish, after he left, this offense has been completely different. Completely different. And like you had the talent. Joe Milton, you see him in the NFL doing the things he does when he gets an opportunity. Joe Milton had the talent. Nico has the talent. There's something going on with this offense, and I think it needs to be changed. But
well, I think if they were going to change, it would have happened already.
no, it
Uh,
ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna change. But Mike
and
Eckler, I love this. I just love this character, man. Good guy, jumping up and down, screaming, headbutting people like that. I love that type of guy. Everyone needs a Mike Eckler in their locker room.
yeah, I mean, and Tennessee special teams were pretty good. In the,
Could have been better, but
I think they were, uh, they were certainly not bad.
Blue Carter should have been returning punts the whole time. So
I guess, but
you guess who else would do it?
yeah, I mean, now of course that's easy to say. I mean, hiring from within for a special teams coordinator ain't going to bother me much, especially this late in the game. As far as we're about to start spring practice across the country, but I don't know. I really don't have a problem. It'll probably be Coach Top. I mean, that's what everybody's saying. That's everybody's projection.
Yeah,
So,
which I
it's
wouldn't be
just
mad at. He's a
no.
good
I mean,
recruiter.
as long as the special teams don't get worse, I'll be fine with it. So, you want to handle some baseball before we end tonight?
What do you want to
Any
talk about?
any last thoughts before? I guess we'll record before then. We don't have to if you don't want to.
No,
But
we can. I love talking baseball.
um, what are we now? 8 days out, and you'll
Yeah,
be
we
there.
are. I will be in attendance. Um, it's going to be a fun time. I think Tony Vitello is going to let these games go as long as possible, even if it's 25-0.
Yeah,
I just think he wants to. I think he needs to figure out what he's going to do. But we see. I understand. Ozuna's only been there for like 4 days, but dude's already mashed like 2 home runs. So it's gonna be hard to keep him out of the lineup. I don't see him playing first base. I actually, after the last time we talked about the lineup and the roster, I think I'd be surprised if they kept Abernathy out of the lineup. I think he's gonna be in left field. Um, Reese Chapman will probably be right field. It's gonna be between him and Kobe Backus. Hunter Hensley obviously in center. Fisher at third, Curley at short, Killen at second. Uh, I'm. This is where it gets weird because I don't know if you knew, but Alex Perry is not going to be on the team.
Hmm.
Yeah, so he's not going to be with the team for this semester. So that opens up a spot at first base. Now, what do? Do you go Dalton Bargo? The thing about Ozuna is Ozuna didn't really play a lot of first base. He was really a DH most of his career.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming he might be able to lock down a DH spot. But again, I think the lineup, coming from Ben McKee too, he talked about it. The lineup's going to change every game, these non-cons, and they're going to figure it out. But there's only a couple of spots that I think are solid locks. I mean, center field, catcher, um, third, short, and second, and the two corner outfields are open. I think to whatever they want to do, and another you got Levi Clark, who I heard is an absolute monster with the bat. Do you put him at first base? Stone Lawless, do you put him at first base? Those are two monster bats. How do you keep them out of your lineup? You know, like,
Yeah.
or do you throw one of those two, Levi Clark? Do you throw Levi Clark in right field? But Reese Chapman has huge upside. I really hope he turns it around
Yeah.
because I just remember him raking a like 420-foot home run to right field against Vanderbilt. So,
Yeah.
but
Eric Kane from Vols was talking about this. Tony normally gives the upperclassmen a chance to earn a spot first, but he certainly is not you know hesitant to pull the trigger if they are not performing. But I think the first Friday night game, you'll see guys like Colby and Reese and of course Hunter and guys who've been in the program in the starting lineup, at least to start the game. And I think, that's how it should be. I mean, that's the culture the program has been at. That's how 2022 happened, is all these older guys just came into their own in that season. That's why they were so good. Um, and, I've heard a lot of this just in the projections for this baseball team. Like, how do you replace guys like Blake Burke and Christian Moore and Dylan Dryland and Kavares Tears and blah, blah, blah? They replaced Jordan Beck and Drew Gilbert and Trey Lipscomb and, you know, all those other dudes from that 22 team.
Lipsius and
Yeah.
Garrett Crochet and like, I mean, name it, they did it.
Yeah. It's almost like we're a good program
Drew
and we have,
Beam, Chase Dolander, Chase Burns, like,
yeah, that's what a good program does is, keep
yeah.
churning. Next man in.
Well,
So,
they obviously don't know about Stone Lawless and Levi Clark. Those two can absolutely rake. So, and I'm gonna call it right now. Jay Abernathy will be your leadoff hitter by conference play. I mean, to have a lefty that fast, this dude turns singles into doubles, doubles into triples. Like he is that fast. How do you keep him out of the lineup? I don't know how disciplined he is at the plate, but if he could get on base, he is always a base threat.
yep.
He could steal you one. Um, and he's a good outfielder. He's mainly an infielder, middle infielder, but there guys like that you could put in the outfield and they'll figure out a way, especially a corner spot like right field or left field. So, um,
100%.
but it's hard to keep a guy with that speed out of the top of the lineup. And again, we'll see. But first base is a big one. Your corner outfielders, and even catching. I feel like you said, Cannon's going to get that start for sure. He should be your Friday Saturday guy.
Yeah.
But the minute he starts struggling a little bit, it's going to be hard to keep Stone Lawless out. I mean that dude, good catcher, big dude, big bat, probably a top 6 bat in on your roster. Same as Levi Clark. Levi Clark's another one that it's going to be hard to keep his bat out of the lineup.
Yeah. I think it's important to remember, if these guys reach their potential, they're that good. But do it in conference play. That's
Yeah.
that's the big thing. These guys can do whatever in non-con play, and that will earn them a spot in conference play. But we saw it last year with Robin Villeneuve. I mean, he fell off the face of the earth in conference play after being one of our main power threats. So
Yep.
even if guys do get off to a good start, it's all about keeping it going for when it really matters. And I no. When's the last time Tony played the guy who shouldn't be playing because he's an upperclassman? It's pretty well 0 times.
Not Josh Heupel or William Martinez.
Yeah. So I trust Tony 100%. It's hard not to trust him after what they have accomplished the last 4 years. So I'm so looking forward to it. I mean, to set sail on trying to do something that nobody's done in, I think it'll be 14 years. The last time anybody repeated was 10 and 11. I'm pretty sure it'll be fun to watch.
The last team that
So
repeated, I think, was South Carolina.
yeah, I'm pretty sure. Um, but yeah, they're going to be trying to do something that again will make history. So
Turn the page. Brand new season, brand new team, brand new record, almost brand new stadium.
yeah,
It's going to be one for the ages. I really do think this team will be just fine.
100%. Any more thoughts tonight, buddy?
Nope. 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 Nope.
Eat shit, Geno. Go to Hell, Missouri, and go Vols.
Eat shit, Gina. Go Vols.